You're terminated. Consider it my gift to you. The text message seared into my vision as I stood in my wedding gown, bouquet still in hand. Moments ago, I'd whispered, "I do," to the love of my life. Now in the church vestibule, surrounded by drifting flower arrangements and the distant murmur of excited guests, I stared at my phone in disbelief. Tate Lawson, my boss's son, the man who'd made my work life unbearable for 3 months, had chosen my wedding day, to end my employment. I showed the message to Karen, my brand new husband. His reaction stunned me. Instead of anger, a knowing smile spread across his face. He took my trembling hands, kissed my knuckles, and murmured, "Check your messages later. Today belongs to us." How could he remain so calm? I had just lost my position as lead project manager at the most prestigious architecture firm in the city. The role I'd poured myself into for the career I'd built over 2 devoted years. Yet something in Karen's gaze told me to trust him. So I silenced my phone, tucked it into my maid of honor's purse, and walked with my husband through the grand doors of the church into a cascade of rose petals and cheers. 3 hours later, during our first dance, Nima, my maid of honor, rushed over with wide eyes. "Waverly, your phone won't stop buzzing. You have 108 missed calls." I checked the screen. Calls from the office, from colleagues, and 17 from a number I recognized immediately. Gregory Lawson, the company owner himself, Tate's father. And that's when I realized this wasn't merely a firing. This was the start of something far bigger than I could have imagined. Before I continue, if you're enjoying the story, please take a second to like and subscribe. Many listeners hear these tales but never engage, which means you could miss future uploads when the algorithm skips you. Trust me, you'll want to know how this ends. Now back to my wedding day nightmare. My name is Waverly Abrams, and until that text message, I was the driving force of Crescent Design Studio. I'm meticulous by nature, the kind of person who color codes her grocery lists and can spot a measurement error in architectural plans from across the room. My colleagues nicknamed me the database because I remembered every client preference, every project detail, every deadline without ever checking notes. My parents were both educators who valued precision and diligence. When Dad had his stroke during my first year of college, I nearly dropped out to help Mom with medical bills. Instead, I doubled my course load while working nights at a printing shop. I graduated with honors in architectural project management, with minor specializations in computer systems and urban planning. That's how I landed at Crescent 2 years ago. Gregory Lawson, the founder, recognized my rare mix of architectural expertise and systems thinking. He hired me to modernize their project management framework. I designed a proprietary system from scratch, one that tracked every blueprint version, client request, budget allocation, and permit application. The system worked flawlessly. Project completion times fell by 30%. Client satisfaction scores soared. Gregory called me the best investment this company ever made. Then came Tate. At 32, Tate Lawson had drifted between 3 divisions of his father's company, never finding his place. He had his father's square jaw and confident posture, but none of his business sense or interpersonal skills. 3 months ago, Gregory announced his semi-retirement and promoted Tate to department director, my direct supervisor. The atmosphere shifted immediately. Where Gregory sought my input, Tate excluded me from meetings. Where Gregory praised my innovations publicly, Tate claimed my ideas as his own. When I scheduled training sessions to document my system for others, Tate canceled them as unnecessary expenses. I met Karen during this period when I was submitting plans for Crescent's largest project yet, a downtown revitalization worth millions. He worked at the city's permit office, the calm, thoughtful man behind the counter who actually reviewed submissions carefully instead of just rubber stamping them. We connected over blueprint discussions, then coffee breaks, then dinner dates. Karen became my refuge from the increasingly hostile work environment. What I didn't realize then was that he was noticing troubling patterns in the submissions from Crescent, particularly those Tate had handled personally. 2 months into our relationship, Karen proposed. We planned a modest wedding on short notice, partly because we were both practical people who didn't need extravagance, and partly because I sensed my position at Crescent was becoming unstable. Tate had been hinting at restructuring and streamlining. I never imagined he'd actually fire me on my wedding day. As the reception continued around me, I excused myself to the bridal suite and listened to Gregory's voicemail. "Waverly, this is Gregory. Call me immediately. Tate had no authority to terminate you. There's been a terrible mistake. We need you. The downtown project submission deadline is Monday and no one can access your system." 6 more messages followed, each more urgent than the last. In the final one, Gregory's voice had lost its usual confidence. "Waverly, please? The Westside development team is threatening to walk. No one can locate the updated renderings. The password Tate thought would work doesn't. We're at a standstill." I sat on the edge of a velvet settee, my wedding dress pooling around me, and felt something unexpected. Power. For 2 years, I had built a system so intuitive that I navigated it without thought. Yet so complex no one else could use it without proper training. Training Tate had repeatedly blocked. I was the only person who fully understood every function, shortcut, and failsafe. On what should have been the worst professional day of my life, I held every advantage. Karen found me staring at my phone, careful not to wrinkle my dress, and quietly revealed that Tate had been altering plans after the engineering team signed off. Removing safety features and substituting cheaper materials, dangerous, unethical changes. I understood then why he had smiled at the firing text. It was an opportunity, removing me from liability while leaving the company helpless. Karen said nothing today. We danced, flew to Beas for our honeymoon, and planned to reshape the landscape afterward. By midnight, I had 212 missed calls, which I ignored as Gregory's messages evolved from urgent to desperate to practically begging, offering triple salary, then partial ownership. All declined. Karen understood this was never about money. It was about respect. Inspired by him, I created my own consulting firm, Precision Protocol Consulting, with the city planning department as my first client. When Gregory called, desperate, I calmly informed him I was no longer available for employment, but would hire his firm, implementing new verification protocols that inevitably exposed Tate's alterations. Tate was blacklisted. Crescent Design Studio lost millions, and Gregory even suffered a minor heart attack from the stress. My business thrived with multiple municipal contracts. Karen received a promotion, and we bought our first fixer-upper. Exactly 1 year after my wedding, a thick cream envelope arrived at my office. A handwritten letter from Gregory Lawson. "Dear Waverly," it began. "Some debts can never be fully repaid, but acknowledgement is the first step toward atonement. I've spent this year rebuilding what my son and my own negligence destroyed. Tate has completed a professional ethics program and now works in a junior role under strict supervision. He understands the gravity of his actions. Crescent has new leadership and protocols. We've overhauled every system, every submission process. We are a different company now. I'm writing to ask if you would consider meeting with me, not to return. I understand that bridge is indeed ash, but to consult on our new systems to ensure we never fail the public trust again. Whether you accept or decline, please know my respect for you has only grown. You were right to stand your ground, right to protect the public, right to demand better. With sincere regret and admiration, Gregory Lawson." I showed the letter to Karen that evening. "What do you think? Should I meet with him?" Karen considered it carefully. "What would be your purpose? Closure, vindication, professional curiosity?" I pondered. "All of those, I suppose, and maybe to see if genuine change is possible." "Then you have your answer," he said. I scheduled the meeting for the following week. When my assistant told me Gregory requested the meeting take place at Crescent's offices rather than mine, I nearly canceled. Returning felt like stepping backward, but curiosity won. At arrival, the receptionist, a new face, greeted me unusually warmly. "Miss Abrams, Mr. Lawson is waiting in the main conference room." Walking the hallways, I noticed changes. New faces, new energy, new systems on screens, evidence they'd truly started over. The conference room door was open. Inside, not only Gregory but Tate sat stiffly beside him. Gregory rose to greet me. Tate remained seated, eyes fixed on the table. "Waverly, thank you for coming." His handshake was firm, but his face looked older than the year that had passed, stress carving new lines. I took a seat. "Your letter was unexpected, as was the education of this past year," Gregory replied, glancing at his son. "But necessary." Tate finally looked up. The arrogance I remembered was gone, replaced by something unfamiliar, humility, or its closest approximation. "I owe you an apology," he said quietly. "What I did was unprofessional, vindictive, and potentially dangerous. There's no excuse." His words sounded rehearsed, but the shame coloring his face seemed genuine. "Apology noted," I replied, neither accepting nor rejecting it outright. Gregory cleared his throat. "There's more." He slid a folder across the table. "This company has been rebuilt from its foundation. New safety protocols, new review processes, new leadership. Tate is no longer in management. He's relearning the business properly from the ground up." I opened the folder. Inside was a detailed overview of their new systems, impressively thorough, along with a consultant contract offering a substantial fee for my review and recommendations. "We're not asking you to come back," Gregory clarified. "Just to evaluate our new approach to ensure we've truly changed." As I scanned the documents, Tate suddenly stood. "There's something else." His voice cracked slightly. He left, returning moments later with a smaller envelope, which he placed before me with shaking hands. Inside was a check for exactly the amount of my entire wedding, down to the last flower arrangement. "How did you know this figure?" I asked suspiciously. "Your wedding planner is my cousin's best friend," Gregory admitted. I asked for the total. I wanted precision. Tate spoke again, steadier this time. "Consider it our gift to you, the one I claimed to be giving when I had no right." A flash of anger surged. Did they really think money could fix this? That they could buy their way back into ethical standing? Before I could respond, Tate placed a small USB drive beside the check. "This also belongs to you. It's the entire project management system you created, all passwords and access points included. We've managed to recreate basic functionality, but it's never worked properly without you. It's yours to take or delete." I stared at the tiny drive, feeling the weight of 2 years' work condensed into something I could hold between my fingers. The system I had built with care, weaponized against me when Tate prevented others from learning it. In that moment, looking at these two men, one broken by his own failings, the other humbled by consequences, I realized something profound about revenge. Sometimes it comes without you having to deliver it yourself. Sometimes the greatest vengeance is surviving, thriving, and watching others reckon with the mess they've made. I closed the folder. "I'll review your proposals and respond within the week. My fee will be triple your initial offer, paid in advance. My team needs complete access and full transparency." Gregory nodded immediately. "Agreed. And one more condition." I looked directly at Tate. "You personally will complete every training module I assign. No matter how basic or time-consuming, you'll learn every aspect of proper project management, ethical submission practices, and regulatory compliance. You'll become the company's foremost expert on doing things the right way." Color drained from Tate's face, but he nodded. "Yes, I understand. Then we might have something to discuss." I gathered my belongings and paused at the door. "Oh, and Gregory, the check is unnecessary. Seeing your son learn integrity will be gift enough." I left them sitting there, the check untouched, and walked out of Crescent Design Studio with my head high. But this wasn't the end. It was where the real transformation began. That evening, Karen and I discussed the meeting over dinner, when my phone pinged with a news alert. Crescent's competitor, the firm handling the downtown project, was under investigation for bribery, allegedly paying officials to fast-track approvals despite serious design flaws. "Did you know about this?" I asked. He shook his head. "The investigation just opened today. State level, not city. I stared at the phone. Mind racing. If Crescent's competitor fell, the project would be in limbo. Millions in development funds idle, workers losing jobs, and years of promised revitalization stalling. Maybe this is why Gregory reached out now, Karen suggested. He must have known this was coming. He's positioning Crescent to retake the project. The realization hit like a thunderbolt. I wasn't being courted out of respect or regret. I was needed for my systems and expertise to seize an opportunity. I felt used all over again. What are you going to do? Karen asked, seeing the storm on my face. I pushed my plate away. I'm going to sleep on it. This requires thought, but sleep eluded me. I replayed the meeting in my mind. Was Tate's contrition real or another performance? Was Gregory committed to ethics or desperate to salvage his legacy? Most importantly, what role did I want and what came next? By morning, I had my answer. I called Gregory at 7 a.m. I've reconsidered your offer, I said. I'm not interested in consulting for Crescent. His silence spoke volumes. I understand, he finally said. However, I continued, I am interested in something else, a partnership. A partnership? His voice rose in surprise. My company oversees all project management and regulatory compliance. Crescent handles design and construction. We operate as separate entities but present as partners to clients. This way I maintain independence while ensuring ethical standards. Highly unusual, Gregory said slowly. So is firing someone on their wedding day, I countered. I won't return to a company where I could be undermined again, but I am committed to seeing the downtown project done properly. The community deserves it. A long pause followed. What about Tate? Where does he fit in this arrangement? Tate works for you, not me, but any project he touches goes through triple verification by my team. No exceptions, another pause. I'll need to discuss this with my board. You have 24 hours, I replied. After that, I'll be presenting my own proposal to the city for the downtown project. I ended the call feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Complete ownership of my future. No longer was I reacting to what had been done to me. I was creating something new on my terms. 23 hours later, Gregory called back. The board has approved your proposal with one addition. They want a 3-year minimum commitment. 2 years with an option to extend, based on performance metrics that we both agreed to in advance. I countered done, and just like that, Precision Protocol Consulting had its biggest client yet. When the competitor firm was officially removed from the downtown project 2 weeks later, our newly formed partnership was ready with updated plans, enhanced safety features, and a comprehensive management system that combined the best of my original design with new security protocols. The city awarded us the contract, partly due to our innovative partnership structure that promised both creative design and rigorous compliance verification. The press called it a new model for architectural accountability. Tate was assigned as Junior Project Coordinator, a position 5 levels below his previous role. Every morning, he received a detailed training module from my team. Every evening, he was tested on the material. If he failed, he repeated the module the next day. To my surprise, he never complained. He completed each assignment meticulously, asked thoughtful questions, and gradually began to show genuine understanding of why protocols existed. 3 months into our partnership, I arrived early at the construction site for an inspection and found Tate already there, methodically checking concrete pour specifications against the approved plans. You don't have to personally verify this, I told him. That's what the site engineers are for. He straightened up, clipboard in hand. I know, but I need to understand every aspect from the ground up. That's the only way I'll truly learn. I studied him, searching for signs of the arrogant young man who'd fired me by text. Instead, I saw someone different, someone chastened by failure and genuinely striving to rebuild himself. Why did you do it? I asked suddenly. Why fire me on my wedding day specifically? Tate flinched but held my gaze. Because I knew you were right about everything. The training programs, the safety concerns, the need for better documentation, and I couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand that you'd built something so essential that even my father respected you more than me. So you tried to hurt me at my most vulnerable moment. He nodded, shame evident in his posture. I thought I'd feel powerful. Instead, I watched everything collapse. The system, nobody could navigate the projects, nobody could track. My father's face when he realized what I'd done. He swallowed hard. I destroyed in one moment what might have been the best mentorship I could have had. His words hung in the morning air between us. Unexpectedly genuine. You can't undo the past, I said finally. But you're right about one thing. I would have been a good mentor. I still could be if you earn it. Hope flickered across his face. How? By becoming the kind of professional who puts safety and integrity above ego. By learning every aspect of this business properly. By admitting when you don't know something instead of hiding it. I can do that, he said with quiet determination. I will do that, I nodded. Then let's start with these poor specifications. Show me what you found. For the next hour, I walked him through proper verification procedures, explaining ration rather than just rules. He absorbed everything with genuine interest, asking intelligent questions that revealed a mind capable of much more than I'd given him credit for. As we finished, and others began arriving for the day's work, Tate hesitated, then asked, Do you think you'll ever truly forgive me? I considered the question carefully. Forgiveness isn't something you're owed. It's something that might develop over time through consistent actions rather than apologies. Show me who you're becoming, not who you regret being. He nodded, accepting the challenge without protest. Over the following months, the downtown project progressed ahead of schedule. Our partnership model received national attention with other municipalities expressing interest in similar arrangements. My consulting firm expanded to 15 employees while Crescent gradually rebuilt its reputation under the new structure. Gregory, true to his word, kept Tate on a strict learning path. The young man who had once sabotaged training sessions now organized them himself, ensuring every team member understood both the how and why of proper procedures. 6 months into the project, I received an unexpected visit at my office from Raina, my former assistant at Crescent. She'd stayed when I left and now worked directly with Gregory. He wants to promote Tate, she told me without preamble, to assistant project manager. I raised an eyebrow, and he sent you to test my reaction. She smiled. He sent me to get your honest assessment. Tate has completed all the training modules with perfect scores. His site reports are exemplary. The team actually respects him now. And what do you think? I asked. Rhea had always been perceptive about people. I think he's genuinely changed. And I think having responsibility might solidify that change. I leaned back in my chair, considering tell Gregory I'll support the promotion with one condition. Tate needs to handle the upcoming community presentation alone. Let's see how he does when representing the project to the people it actually affects. The community presentation was scheduled for the following week. A critical milestone where we would update neighborhood residents on construction progress, timeline, and how their input had shaped design modifications. It was a high-pressure situation with potentially hostile questions from residents who'd seen previous promises broken. I attended incognito, sitting in the back row of the community center. Tate arrived early, setting up displays and greeting people personally as they entered. When he stepped to the podium, I noticed something surprising. He was nervous. The old Tate would have covered insecurity with arrogance. This version acknowledged it directly. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tate Lawson, Assistant Project Coordinator. Some of you may remember when this project stalled last year. That failure was partly due to my mistakes, shortcuts. I tried to take that compromised safety and violated your trust. A murmur ran through the crowd. This level of candor was unexpected. I'm here today not just to update you on our progress, but to assure you that every aspect of this project now undergoes triple verification. Our partnership with Precision Protocol Consulting means nothing reaches construction without rigorous safety and compliance review. He proceeded to walk through the updated plans, highlighting areas where community feedback had directly influenced design changes. When tough questions came, he answered honestly, including several times when he said, I don't know, but I'll find out and get back to you personally. By the end, the initial skepticism had transformed into cautious optimism. Residents approached him afterward with follow-up questions, which he addressed with patience and transparency. I slipped out before he could spot me, but I'd seen enough. The next day, I called Gregory. "I heard Tate did well yesterday," he said immediately. "He did. I was there." "And your verdict?" I paused, knowing my next words would significantly impact Tate's future. "I support the promotion. He's earned it." Gregory's relief was audible. "Thank you, Waverly. Your endorsement means everything. Just remember, trust is rebuilt in small moments of integrity, repeated consistently over time. One good presentation doesn't erase the past. I understand, we all do." After hanging up, I stood at my office window looking out at the downtown skyline where our project was gradually taking shape. Cranes swung against the blue sky. Workers moved purposefully across the site, and the community had begun to believe, again in the promise of revitalization. This wasn't the revenge I'd initially imagined when I returned from my honeymoon to 212 missed calls. It was something more complex, more nuanced, a reconstruction rather than a destruction. I hadn't ruined Tate or Gregory. I'd helped create a framework where they could become better versions of themselves while securing my own position of strength. And in doing so, I'd built something far more valuable than a system only I could understand. I'd built a model of accountability that might actually last beyond any single project or person. That evening, as Karen and I walked past the construction site on our way to dinner, we paused to watch the sunset glint off the partially completed structures. "Are you happy with how things turned out?" he asked, squeezing my hand. I considered the question carefully. "I'm satisfied. Not because they suffered, but because actual change happened. The company is safer. The buildings are sounder. The community will benefit. And Tate is," I searched for the right word. "Tate is becoming someone his position deserves. Whether that redemption continues is up to him." Karen nodded thoughtfully. "You know, when I showed you that text message on our wedding day, I never imagined this outcome. It thought you'd want scorched earth. Maybe I would have if you hadn't shown me another way." I leaned against his shoulder. "You taught me that sometimes the best revenge isn't about destruction. Sometimes it's about reconstruction, but on your terms, not theirs." He kissed the top of my head. "Speaking of reconstruction, the house renovations are finally done. Should we have Gregory and Tate over for dinner to celebrate?" I laughed at the suggestion. "Let's not push it. Professional respect is one thing. Friendship is quite another." "Fair enough," he conceded with a smile. "One step at a time. One step at a time." That had become my mantra throughout this entire journey. From the moment I received that text on my wedding day to the partnership that rose from the ashes of my firing, every step had led me not just to survival, but to genuine triumph. The downtown project would be completed under budget and ahead of schedule. My consulting firm would continue to grow, and I would forever be known as the woman who turned a wedding day firing into an industry-changing business model. As Karen and I continued our evening walk, my phone buzzed. A text from Tate. "Thank you for your support on the promotion. I won't let you down." I showed it to Karen, who raised an eyebrow. "Are you going to respond?" I thought for a moment, then typed, "Make sure you don't. Some gifts can't be returned." As I hit send, I realized the text had arrived exactly 1 year to the day after his gift to me on my wedding day. The symmetry wasn't lost on me, nor I suspected on him. Some might say I should have crushed Tate completely when I had the chance, that I should have dismantled Gregory's company piece by piece instead of helping rebuild it, that my revenge wasn't ruthless enough. But those people would be missing the point. True power isn't about destruction. It's about having the ability to destroy and choosing a different path. It's about reshaping reality according to your vision, not reacting to someone else's cruelty. In the end, I didn't just get even. I got ahead. And I did it not by stooping to Tate's level, but by rising so far above it that he would spend years climbing to reach where I now stood. If you've stayed with me through this story, you might be wondering if you could show the same restraint in my position. Could you turn betrayal into opportunity? Could you transform revenge into reformation? It's not an easy path, but sometimes the most satisfying victories aren't about what you destroy. They're about what you build from the ashes of what tried to destroy you. If this story resonated with you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever turned a professional betrayal into an unexpected triumph? I'd love to hear how you transformed your own setbacks into stepping stones. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you won't miss my next story about navigating the complicated landscape of career, relationships, and the sweet satisfaction of success on your own terms.